Welcome to This is Thailand. I'm your host, and today's story is one that's going to stick with you. This is Niall, 55 years old, from Dublin, Ireland. Spent 30 years as a scaffolder before his body forced him to stop. He came to Thailand looking for warm weather, lower stress, and a fresh start after a heart attack nearly killed him. What he found was a woman who seemed different from all the bar girls and massage girls he'd been warned about. She had a real job, a real life, real dignity. And that's exactly what made her so dangerous. What happened next changed everything. This is his story, in his own words. My name's Niall, and I spent 30 years on scaffolding across Dublin. Ballymun Tower blocks, the Docklands builds, every massive site that went up during the Celtic Tiger and the years after. I was the foreman everyone wanted on their job because I showed up before everyone else and left after. Worked through weather that sent younger lads home crying, worked through hangovers that would hospitalize normal men. I was hard as nails. That was me identity, you know. The man who could handle anything, who never quit, who got the job done no matter what. 3 packs of Benson and Hedges a week. Fry-ups every morning drowning in grease. Pints at the local after every shift. Sometimes 6 or 7 if the lads were in good form. I thought I was invincible. 30 years of that life and nothing stopped me. I was 54 years old and still climbing steel in January rain, still shouting at apprentices about proper tie-offs, still doing the work of men half me age. Then a Tuesday morning in Talat, 2019. Ordinary day, bit of drizzle, nothing unusual. I was up on the scaffold shouting at this young lad about loose ties on the platform. Next thing I know, I'm on me back staring at clouds, chest crushed like someone's parked a lorry on it, can't breathe, arms going numb. I genuinely thought I was dying. Thought this is it, this is how it ends. Flat on me back on a building site in Talat, massive heart attack. Triple bypass surgery. I woke up in hospital with tubes coming out of me, scars down me chest, feeling like I'd been hit by a bus. Me, cardiologist, a no-nonsense woman from Cork. She didn't sugarcoat it. She sat down beside the bed and said, "Niall, you've got 2 choices here. Change everything about your life or plan your funeral. The smoking, the drinking, the stress, the work, all of it. It's done. You keep going like this, you'll be dead in 2 years." Just like that. Everything I was, everything I'd built me life around, finished. I couldn't go back to scaffolding. Me body wouldn't let me. Even if it would, I was terrified. Every time I thought about climbing steel, I could feel that crushing weight on me chest again. I sold me semi-detached in Clondalkin for €280,000. Walked away from the scaffolding game with a small pension and about $165,000 American after everything cleared. Sounds like a lot, but I was 55 years old with no career and a body that had betrayed me. That money had to last the rest of me life. Ireland felt impossible after that. Cold, gray, pissing rain half the year. Every building site I walked past reminded me I was finished. Every pub had lads I'd worked with asking when I was coming back. I couldn't explain that I wasn't coming back, that the man who'd been their foreman didn't exist anymore. I'd worked with this lad Deco years back, and he'd been living in Pattaya, Thailand for 5 years or so. Always posting photos on Facebook beaches, cheap beer, women half his age smiling at him. I'd always dismissed it as midlife crisis nonsense, Deco running away from his problems. But now those photos looked different. Warm weather, sun. A place where nobody knew me as the foreman who had the heart attack. A place where I could afford to live comfortably without working myself into an early grave. I started researching. Me doctor had said warm climate, less stress, gentle exercise. Thailand kept coming up. I watched YouTube videos about Chiang Mai temples, mountains, healthy living, yoga retreats, expats doing morning hikes and meditation. It looked peaceful, clean. A place where a man could reinvent himself. But I also knew about Pattaya from Deco's posts. I'm not daft. I knew what that place was about, walking street, bar girls, sex tourism. But Deco also posted about normal expat life, cheap rent, good food, a community of Western men living there. And I thought, if I go to Chiang Mai, do the healthy thing, stay away from the obvious traps, I'll be grand. I'm not some desperate Egypt who's going to throw his money at the first girl who smiles at him. I had a plan, live clean, eat healthy, gentle exercise like the doctor ordered, make me savings last 20 years, find some peace. Maybe even meet someone genuine if I was lucky, someone who'd like me for myself rather than me wallet. I bought a one-way ticket to Bangkok in January 2020. 55 years old, carrying everything I owned in 2 suitcases, flying toward a country I'd never been to, speaking a language I didn't know. I was terrified and excited in equal measure. Felt like I was either making the smartest decision of me, life, or the stupidest. Couldn't tell which. The funny thing is, I thought the biggest risk was me health. Thought I might have another heart attack in some Thai hospital with no proper insurance. Thought I might struggle with the heat, with the food, with being so far from home. Never occurred to me that the real danger would be a woman with a real job, a modest life, and a smile that made me feel like I'd finally found something worth living for. Never occurred to me that the trap I'd be so careful to avoid would be wearing a different face entirely. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, I had to get there. Had to discover that the healthy retirement I'd planned wasn't going to work out the way I thought. Had to find out who I really was when you stripped away the scaffolding and the smoking and the pints and the lads and everything that had made me Nile for 30 years. Thailand was going to teach me that, one way or another. I landed in Bangkok in late January 2020. The heat hit me the second I stepped off the plane. Proper heat, not like anything I'd felt in Ireland. Humid, thick, the kind that makes your shirt stick to your back within minutes. The airport was massive, modern, air-conditioned to freezing. I changed $2,000 into baht at the exchange counter, got a thick stack of bills that made me feel rich until I did the math and realized it was only about 60,000 baht. I spent one night in Bangkok, some budget hotel near Khao San Road, couldn't sleep. Jet lag, noise, heat even with the aircon going full blast. The streets were mental tuk-tuks buzzing everywhere, street food vendors grilling meat on sticks, backpackers stumbling drunk at 3 in the morning. It was overwhelming. I felt old, out of place, wondering what the hell I was doing here. Next morning I took a bus to Chiang Mai, 6 hours north through countryside that looked nothing like Ireland. Rice fields, mountains in the distance, little villages with wooden houses on stilts. I'd watched enough YouTube videos to know Chiang Mai was where the healthy expats went, the yogis, the digital nomads, the retirees who did morning temple walks and ate vegetarian. That was going to be me, new Nile. Healthy Nile. I found a guest house in the old city, nice enough place run by a Thai woman and her German husband. 300 baht a night, about $10. Me room had a fan, a hard bed, a bathroom with a squat toilet I nearly broke me hip trying to use. But it was clean, quiet. Had a little garden where other guests sat drinking tea and reading books about Buddhism. The first week I tried so hard to be the person I'd planned to become. Up at dawn, walking to temples, Wat Chedi Luang, Wat Phra Singh, watching monks in orange robes doing their morning rounds. The temples were beautiful, I'll give them that. Golden spires, intricate carvings, the smell of incense everywhere. But I felt like a tourist intruder, like I was play acting in spirituality. I signed up for a yoga class, 15 people in a studio that smelled like feet and sandalwood. The instructor was this Australian girl, maybe 25, talking about opening your chakras and setting intentions. I was the oldest person there by 20 years. Couldn't touch me toes. Me shoulder, fucked from 30 years of scaffolding, screamed every time I tried to lift me arms overhead. After the third class, I stopped going. The vegetarian cafes were everywhere in Chiang Mai. Little places with names like Good Souls and Earthen Jar, serving food that looked like rabbit droppings and tasted like cardboard. I'd sit there eating some boiled quinoa and kale, watching skinny young people on laptops talking about their startups and their manifestation practices, and I'd think about a proper fry-up, rashers, sausages, black pudding, beans, fried bread. Me mouth would water. I tried hiking. There were trails up into the mountains, national parks, waterfalls. I'd go out for a few hours, sweating buckets, dodging giant spiders, coming back exhausted. It was grand exercise, but I was doing it alone. Always alone. The other hikers were couples or groups of young backpackers who'd look at me like I was someone's lost grandfather. 3 weeks of this, and I was bored out of me mind. Every day the same routine. Wake up, temple walk, terrible breakfast, sit in the cafe pretending to read, maybe a hike, back to the guest house, asleep by 9 because there was nothing else to do. The healthy retirement lifestyle everyone talked about felt like slow death by boredom. I'm not a monk, I'm not a spiritual person. I spent 30 years on building sites with men who swore like sailors, who told filthy jokes, who went to the pub after work and talked shite about football and women and who was shagging who. That was me world. I couldn't just become some enlightened expat meditating in temples. There was this Danish bloke at me guest house, Henrik, bit older than me, maybe 60. He'd been in Thailand 10 years, did the Chiang Mai thing for a while, but now split his time between here and Pattaya. One night we were having a beer at a place near the night bazaar. I'd started drinking again, fucked the healthy lifestyle, and he could see I was miserable. "You look like a man serving a prison sentence," he said. I laughed. "That obvious." "Chiang Mai's not for everyone," Henrik said. "It's good if you're into the yoga and the digital nomad scene. But if you're a normal bloke who likes a drink and a laugh, it's a bit much, yeah?" "So what do I do?" Henrik grinned. "Go down to Pattaya for a weekend, just to look, get it out of your system. Then you can come back here and be enlightened or whatever." I knew Pattaya's reputation. Walking street, go-go bars, the whole sex tourism thing that gives Thailand a bad name. But Henrik said there were normal parts too, Regular expat life, just with actual nightlife instead of Chiang Mai's ghost town vibe after 9 p.m. Just for a weekend, I said. Just to see. I never came back to Chiang Mai. The bus from Chiang Mai to Pattaya took about 12 hours. I arrived late afternoon, checked into a cheap hotel near Second Road, and went out walking just to get me bearings. And, Jesus, the difference. Pattaya was alive in ways Chiang Mai wasn't. Motorbikes everywhere, bars with music blasting, street food vendors grilling fish and chicken, Western men walking around with Thai women half their age. It was loud and messy and real. I'm not saying I liked everything about it. Walking street at night was grim go-go bars with girls dancing in their knickers, touts trying to drag you inside, the whole meat market thing that made me uncomfortable. But there were also normal bars, sports pubs, where expats watched football, restaurants serving actual food I recognized. There was life here, energy, people speaking English. I found a one-bedroom condo for rent on Soi Buakau, 12,000 baht a month, about $400. Basic but comfortable. 7th floor, balcony overlooking the street, aircon, hot water, Western toilet. The area wasn't fancy, but it was central, close to everything, full of other expats living normal lives. I signed a 6-month lease that week, packed up me stuff in Chiang Mai, came back to Pattaya, and that was that. The healthy retirement plan lasted 3 weeks, but I wasn't here for the bars or the girls. I'd made that promise to myself. I was here because Pattaya felt real, because I could afford it, because there were people who spoke me language. I'd find a routine, go to the gym, eat proper food, make some mates, keep it clean. Me shoulder was killing me. 30 years of hauling steel, climbing scaffolding, working in the rain and cold, it had destroyed the joint. The dull ache was constant, sharp pain when I tried to lift anything heavy. In Ireland, I would have just ignored it, taken some ibuprofen, powered through, but here I had time, and Henrik had mentioned that Thai massage was the real deal for muscle problems. Not the dodgy happy ending places, proper therapeutic massage. Henrik recommended a place on Soi Buakau, about 5 minutes walk from me condo. Simple shop front, sign in Thai and English, Lana traditional massage. Through the window I could see it was legitimate massage tables with clean sheets. A few older Western blokes getting worked on by Thai women in modest uniforms. Nothing seedy about it. I walked in nervous. A Thai woman at the desk, maybe 50, smiled and asked what I needed. I pointed to me shoulder, said it hurt. She nodded, said 400 baht for 1 hour, traditional Thai massage. $12. Cheaper than a pint in Dublin. That's when Ploy walked out from the back room. She was wearing the same uniform as the other massage girls, simple blue tunic and black trousers. Nothing revealing, but something about her caught me attention. She was pretty, yeah, but not in a made-up way. Natural. Early 30s maybe. She smiled at the older woman, said something in Thai, then looked at me. "You have shoulder pain?" she asked in decent English. "Yeah," I said. "From work. Years of work." She nodded. "I can help. I am good with shoulder, with back. Come." I followed her to a massage table in the corner. She had me take off me shirt and lie face down. Her hands were small but strong, and she went straight to work on me shoulder, finding every knot and damaged muscle like she had a map of me injuries. It hurt, but in that good way where you know it's helping. She didn't try to chat me up. Didn't ask where I was from or how long I was staying or any of the usual questions. Just worked on me shoulder professionally, explaining in broken English that the muscle was very tight, very damaged, needed regular massage to fix. After an hour, I felt better than I had in months. The constant ache was gone, replaced by a kind of pleasant soreness. I paid the 400 baht, gave her a 100 baht tip, and she smiled, said thank you, said come back in a few days. I came back twice that week, then twice the next week. Always asked for Ploy. She remembered me, started to recognize what areas needed work. We'd chat a bit during the massage, small talk about the weather, about Pattaya, about Ireland when she asked where I was from. She mentioned she was from Udon Thani, up in Isan, had a daughter living with her mother. 8 years old, she said, showing me a photo on her phone during a break. Beautiful little girl. Ploy was different from the other massage girls, quieter, more serious about the work. The others would chat and laugh with the customers, but Ploy kept it professional. She wore no makeup, no jewelry. Her English was good enough to communicate, but she didn't push conversation. She just did her job and did it well. After a month of twice-weekly massages, I worked up the nerve to ask her to dinner. I was terrified she'd say no, or worse, look at me like I was just another creepy old farang trying to buy companionship. But she smiled, a bit shy, and said okay. She suggested a Thai restaurant near the market. Said she finished work at 7. I showed up at 7 on the dot, nervous as a teenager on a first date. And that's where everything really started, where the story you're probably expecting actually begins. But I'm telling you now, looking back, I should have seen it. Should have known that different doesn't mean safe. Should have understood that the girl who doesn't look like a trap is often the most dangerous kind. That first dinner with Ploy, I'll never forget it. The restaurant was one of those simple Thai places on a side street near the market. Plastic chairs, fluorescent lights, menus with pictures for the Farang who couldn't read Thai. The smell of fish sauce and lemongrass hung heavy in the humid air. Locals eating samtam and grilled chicken, motorbikes parked 3 deep on the pavement outside. Ploy showed up exactly on time, wearing jeans and a simple white blouse. No makeup, hair pulled back in a ponytail. She looked nervous, which made me feel better about being nervous myself. We sat down and she handed me the menu, started pointing at dishes she thought I might like. When the waitress came over, Ploy ordered in Thai, then looked at me and said, "I get pad Thai for you, okay? Not too spicy. And Chang beer?" "Perfect," I said. The bill came to maybe 600 baht total, about $20 for both of us. I reached for it immediately, but Ploy grabbed it first. "We split," she said, half-half. "Ah, no," I said. "I invited you, let me pay." No, she insisted, pulling out her wallet. "Not fair, I pay my part." We went back and forth like this for a solid minute. Finally, I convinced her to let me pay, but she looked genuinely uncomfortable about it. That registered with me, you know? Every story I'd heard about bar girls, they were ordering the most expensive thing on the menu, drinks for their mates, trying to squeeze every baht out of you. Ploy was trying to pay her own way. We talked for 2 hours. She asked about Ireland, about me work, seemed genuinely interested when I explained scaffolding. I told her about the heart attack, about coming to Thailand for a fresh start. She reached across the table and touched me arm, real concern in her eyes. "You must take care," she said. "Heart, very important. You need good food, good rest, no stress." I asked about her daughter, Nong Fei. She pulled out her phone, showed me dozens of photos. You could see the love there, proper maternal pride. The girl was 8, living in Udon Thani with Ploy's mother while Ploy worked in Pattaya sending money home. "I want send her good school," Ploy said. "Private school, not government school, so she have better future than me." "What about Nong Fei's father?" I asked, gentle-like. Ploy's face went sad. "He leave when she baby. Go work in Bangkok, never come back. I not see him 5 year now." The way she said it, matter of fact, but with real pain underneath, it felt true. Not some sob story designed to pull at me heartstrings. Just the reality of her life. She didn't drink. Ordered water. Maybe had a sip of me beer when I offered, but made a face like it tasted terrible. She didn't ask me for anything, didn't mention money troubles, didn't hint that she needed help, didn't do any of the things I've been warned about. We started seeing each other twice a week. Dinner after her massage shift, walks along the beach, coffee at simple Thai cafes where everything costs 30 baht. I'd try to pay for things, and she'd argue every time. Eventually, I learned to just pay the bill before she could object. About 3 weeks in, I noticed her phone. The screen was absolutely destroyed, spiderweb cracks across the whole thing. I asked how long it had been like that. "Maybe 3 months, she said, shrugging. "Still work okay, just screen broken. Why don't you get it fixed? Too expensive. Maybe when I have extra money." I offered to buy her a new one. She refused, flat out refused, looked almost offended that I'd suggest it. I had to bring it up 3 more times before she reluctantly agreed, and even then she tried to give me money toward it. The phone cost 20,000 baht, about $600. Nice Samsung, nothing crazy expensive. When I gave it to her, Ploy cried. Actual tears, said no one had ever done something so kind for her. Looking back now, I can see how carefully it was all calibrated, but in the moment, it felt real. It felt like I'd found someone genuine, someone who wasn't playing the games everyone had warned me about. We went away for a weekend to Koh Samet in April. Beautiful island, white sand beaches, water so clear you could see fish swimming. I booked 2 rooms at a simple beach bungalow. Ploy insisted on 2 rooms, said it wasn't proper otherwise. I didn't push it. That weekend she was nervous and sweet and completely different from what I'd imagined Thai women in Pattaya to be like. We swam, ate seafood, walked the beach at sunset. On the second night, she came to me room after dinner, stood in the doorway looking uncertain. "I can stay here tonight?" she asked quietly. 6 weeks. She'd made me wait 6 weeks. And that sealed it for me, you know? In me head, that proved this wasn't transactional. She wasn't a working girl, wasn't playing an angle. She was a normal woman who wanted to take things slow, who had standards, who needed to feel comfortable before being intimate. We slept together that night, and it felt like the start of something real. Over the next 2 months, we settled into a routine. I'd see her at the massage shop twice a week for my shoulder, then we'd have dinner after. Weekends, we'd do something together. Beach, market, just walking around Pattaya. She still worked her regular shifts, still had her own life, her own apartment. The spending during this time felt natural, responsible even. Nice dinners cost maybe 1,500 to 2,000 baht each time, call it $50 or $60. Another weekend trip, this time to Hua Hin, maybe $800 total. When she mentioned Nong Fei needed new school uniforms and books, I gave her 12,000 baht, about $400. Her smile when she thanked me, the way she showed me photos of Namfei in a new uniform, it felt worth every penny. I was living on about 70,000 baht a month, maybe $2,000. Condo was 12,000, food and living expenses. Another 20,000, the rest was buffer. I still had me full savings sitting there, about $165,000. Spending 8 or 10,000 baht on Ploy here and there didn't feel reckless. It felt generous. It felt like what you'd do for someone you cared about who was working hard and struggling. She introduced me to the other massage girls at the shop. Normal women, mostly from Isan, sending money home to families in the villages. They'd tease Ploy about having a Farang boyfriend, friendly ribbing that made the whole thing feel normal and accepted. She introduced me to a few regular customers, 2 older Western blokes with actual back problems and injuries, not the seedy types looking for extras. One German guy, Klaus, had been coming to that shop for 3 years. He pulled me aside one day and said, "Ploy is good girl, not like some others. You were lucky, man." Everything confirmed the narrative I built in me head. I come to Thailand, stayed away from the obvious traps, found a woman with a real job and a real life who wasn't after me money. I'd done it the right way. I was smarter than the fat drunk Egypts handing over their pensions to bar girls half their age. I've met plenty of those lads by now. You'd see them in the sports bars, 70 years old with a 25-year-old girl on their lap, buying drinks for the whole bar, talking about how their girlfriend really loved them. The girls would be on their phones texting other men while sitting right there. It was sad and pathetic and obvious. That wasn't me. Ploy had a job. Ploy tried to pay her own way. Ploy made me wait 6 weeks before sleeping with me. Ploy had her own life and didn't ask me for money. Except she had asked, hadn't she? Or rather, I'd offered. The phone, the school supplies, the weekend trips. But that was different, I told myself. That wasn't her asking. That was me being generous, me wanting to help someone who was working hard and struggling. By June, I'd spent maybe $8,000 over 4 months, $2,000 a month on top of me regular expenses. I had $157,000 left. The math was fine. At this rate, me money would last 15 years easy, probably 20, and I was happier than I'd been in years. Me shoulder felt better. I was walking more, smoking less. I'd even started eating actual vegetables. Ploy would cook Thai food in me condo pad krapao, tom yum. Simple dishes that were healthy and delicious. She'd scold me when I lit up a cigarette, remind me about me heart. She genuinely seemed to care about me health, about me well-being. I thought I'd found it, the thing I'd come to Thailand looking for. Companionship, care. Someone who liked me for myself rather than what I could provide. I told myself I was lucky. Told myself I'd been smart. Told myself that a masseuse isn't a bar girl, like it was some kind of wisdom I'd discovered. That thought right there, that was the trap closing around me. I just didn't know it yet. Everything I thought made Ploy different. Everything I thought made me smarter than the other lads. Everything I thought proved this was real. It was all setting me up for what was coming next. But in June 2020, sitting on my balcony with Ploy, watching the sun set over Pattaya, eating some tam she'd made with her own hands, I felt like the luckiest man in Thailand. 4 months down, 14 months to go until I'd learn exactly how wrong I was about everything. The shift happened in late July. Ploy came to me condo after work, but she wasn't herself. Her eyes were red, puffy. She'd been crying. "What's wrong?" I asked immediately, pulling her inside. She tried to wave it off, said it was nothing, but I could see she was devastated about something. Finally, after I pushed, she told me. Her mother in Udon Thani had diabetes complications. The public hospital wouldn't cover all the medication she needed, wanted to put her on cheaper alternatives that didn't work as well. Ploy's mother needed private treatment, better medicine, but it cost money Ploy didn't have. "How much?" I asked. Ploy shook her head. "I don't know, maybe 100,000 baht. I try to save. I send money every month, but not enough. I don't know what to do." 100,000 baht. About $3,000. I had 157,000 sitting in the bank. "I'll send it," I said. Ploy's eyes went wide. No, I cannot. Too much money. I just upset. I should not burden you with my problem." "It's not a burden," I said. "Your mother needs help. Let me help." She cried harder. Said she'd pay me back, would work extra shifts, would save every baht. I said, "Don't be daft." I didn't want it back. I wanted her mother to get proper treatment. I transferred the money the next day, 95,000 baht, about $3,000. Ploy showed me photos of her mother in the private clinic, thanked me over and over, said I'd saved her mother's life. Looking back, that was the moment. That was when the relationship fundamentally changed. I crossed from being the generous boyfriend to being the provider, the man who solved problems with money. August brought another problem, Nomphai's school. Ploy had been saving to send her daughter to a private school, a real opportunity for better education. But the fees were expensive. 150,000 baht for the year, about $4,000. Ploy had saved some, but not enough, and the deadline was coming. I paid it without hesitation. This wasn't just helping Ploy, this was investing in a child's future. Nong Fai could get a proper education, escape the poverty of rural Isan, have opportunities her mother never had. $4,000 for that? Easy decision. Ploy showed me photos of Nong Fai in the new school uniform, at the better school. The gratitude in her eyes felt real. Felt like I was doing something meaningful with me money, not just sitting on it letting it rot in the bank. September brought the motorbike. Ploy's Honda Wave died, engine completely gone. She needed a motorbike for work, for getting around Pattaya, for everything. A new one cost 60,000 baht, about $1,800. She said she'd take the bus, save up, buy one in a few months. I said that's ridiculous, bought her a newer Honda Wave the next day. By October, we'd fallen into a pattern. Ploy would mention struggling with rent while sending money home to support her mother and Nong Fai. She never asked directly, never said, I need money, but I could see it. The stress, the worry, the calculations she was always doing in her head about how to stretch every baht. I suggested she move in with me, save the rent on her studio apartment, put that money toward her family instead. We were together most nights anyway. It made sense. Ploy was hesitant, said it wasn't traditional, wasn't proper, worried what people would think. But I could see the relief behind the protests. Rent in Pattaya was expensive even for a small studio. Moving in would save her 15,000 baht a month, about $500. She moved in mid-October. Brought one suitcase of clothes, a few personal items, nothing more. Started cooking for me every night. Pad krapao, tom yum, green curry, simple Thai dishes that were delicious and healthy. She'd scold me when I lit up a cigarette, remind me about me hard, make me take me medication. I started giving her 15,000 baht monthly for expenses. Supporting her family back in Udon Thani, helping with bills, just until she got ahead financially, $500 a month. I was living on 2,000 monthly anyway. What was another 500 to help someone I cared about? The money didn't feel reckless. It felt responsible, even generous in a restrained way. I did the math constantly. Between July and December, I'd spent about $22,000 beyond me normal living expenses. Me savings dropped from 157,000 to 135,000. Still plenty. Still enough to last 15 years at this rate. And I was getting something real in return. Ploy worked full-time at the massage shop, contributed around the apartment, took care of me. I was healthier than I'd been in years, walking more, smoking less, eating better. Me's shoulder felt better from the regular massage work. I'd even started going to the gym, something I'd never done in me life. But there were moments, small things that should have registered as warnings, but I explained away. I wanted to visit Udon Thani, meet her mother, see Nong Fai, visit the school I'd paid for. Seemed natural, right? I was supporting them. I should at least meet them. Ploy always had reasons why not yet. Her mother was too sick for visitors. The house was too embarrassing, very poor. She was ashamed for me to see it. After Songkran would be better timing. After the school semester finished. Wait until her mother felt better. I understood. I'm Irish. I understood poverty and pride. Understood complicated family situations. I'd grown up in Ballyfermot. I knew what it was like to be embarrassed about where you came from. But looking back, Jesus, how did I not see it? 6 months of supporting her family, and I'd never met any of them. Never even had a phone call with her mother. Never spoken to Nong Fai. Another moment. December, we were having dinner at a Thai restaurant on 2nd Road. Me phone rang, me pension payment notification. Ploy glanced at me screen, saw the amount. I noticed her expression change just for a second. Interest, calculation. Then back to normal. I told myself I was being paranoid. She wasn't like that. She had a job, paid her own way, only accepted help reluctantly. Except she'd stopped working as many hours at the massage shop. She said she was tired, needed rest, the work was hard on her body. Made sense. Massage was physical labor, brutal on the hands and back. She still went in a few times a week, kept her job, but not the full shifts she'd been doing when we met. I didn't think about what that meant. Didn't think about the fact that if she was working less, she was earning less, which meant she was more dependent on the money I was giving her. By December, I'd spent about $30,000 total since meeting Ploy in March. But I had $135,000 left. Me monthly expenses including supporting her were about $2,500. At that rate, me money would last 15 years, maybe more with the pension. I was 55.70 years old with money still in the bank. That was fine, that was sustainable. And what was I getting? Companionship. Someone who cared about me health, home-cooked meals, someone who was there when I woke up and when I went to sleep. Someone who seemed to genuinely care about me beyond what I could provide. I'd see the other expats around Pattaya, fat blokes with bar girls who disappeared the second the money ran out. Drunk 70-year-olds at Walking Street buying lady drinks, convincing themselves the 20-year-old really liked them. Lonely men in their condos, no one to talk to, no one who cared if they lived or died. That wasn't me. I had Ploy. She had a real job, a real life, real responsibilities. She wasn't a bar girl. She was a working woman from a poor family trying to give her daughter a better life. I was helping her do that, and in return, I had companionship and care. The relationship felt real. It felt like I'd found what I'd come to Thailand looking for. Someone who loved me despite me age, despite me scars, despite me damaged body. Someone who'd chosen me for meself. I told myself I was one of the lucky ones. Told myself I'd been smart, careful, had avoided the obvious traps. Told myself that supporting someone you care about isn't the same as being scammed. And maybe that was true. Maybe it would have stayed that way. Maybe if it had stopped there, at $500 a month in the occasional emergency, I could have sustained it for years and been happy. But it didn't stop there. Because in January 2021, Ploy came home with a business opportunity. And that's when I stopped being just a provider and became an investor. That's when me stubborn builder's pride took over, when I stopped being able to walk away even when the warning signs became impossible to ignore. That's when the real money started flowing. And that's when I sealed my own fate. Ploy brought up the business idea in early January 2021, casual-like, over dinner at the condo. She'd made larb gai, spicy minced chicken with sticky rice, and we were eating on the balcony watching motorbikes stream past below. The evening air was still warm, thick with humidity and the smell of street food from the vendors down on Soi Buakau. My cousin have massage shop in Udon Thani, she said, picking at her rice. Very small shop, she want to close, sell equipment. Why's she closing? I asked. Ploy shrugged. Location not good. Old equipment, no customer, she lose money every month. Better to close, she think. I nodded, kept eating. Wasn't really me business. But Ploy kept going. I think maybe, if someone invest money, could make shop good, fix equipment, move to better location. Udon Thani have many tourists now, many people want good massage. And there it was. The hook. But she didn't ask directly, didn't say, will you invest? She just left it hanging there. How much would it cost? I asked. To fix it up properly? Ploy did some calculations in her head. Maybe 800,000 baht. For new equipment, move to better place, fix everything. 700,000 baht. About $25,000. Quarter of me remaining savings. That's a lot of money, I said. Yes, too much. Ploy nodded quickly. I just thinking out loud. Silly idea. We forget. But I didn't forget. I thought about it all night. Lay awake while Ploy slept beside me, doing the math, weighing the possibilities. Here's what I told myself. Thailand's massage industry was booming. Wellness tourism was huge and getting bigger. Ploy had expertise in massage, knew the business. Udon Thani was growing, more tourists every year. A well-run shop in a good location could generate real income. And more than that, this would give Ploy something. A business of her own. A way to move back to Udon Thani to be with non-fi independence. We'd own something together, build something together, have an actual future rather than just me supporting her family month after month. I'd spent 30 years building things. Scaffolding that made buildings possible. Infrastructure that changed Dublin's skyline. This wasn't different. This was tangible, real, something I understood. The pride of it, the builder in me couldn't resist. I'd be creating something, not just handing over money. I'd be investing, not being scammed. 2 days later, I told Ploy I'd do it. Her eyes went wide, genuine shock. Really? You sure? Let's make it work, I said. Properly. We'll renovate the place, modernize it, position it right. Make it the best massage shop in Udon Thani. Ploy cried. Threw her arms around me, said I was changing her life, changing Non-Fi's life. Said we'd be partners, would build something amazing together. I transferred 750,000 baht in mid-February, $25,000. Me savings dropped to 110,000. Ploy showed me photos of the shop, small place, shabby, but I could see the potential. Good bones, just needed work. She showed me renovation plans she'd sketched out, equipment catalogs, licensing requirements. Everything looked professional, thought through. She started traveling to Udon Thani regularly to oversee the work. Every week or two, she'd take the bus up for a few days, send me photos of progress. Walls being painted, new massage tables, proper flooring. I wanted to come with her, see it myself, but she insisted I wait until it was finished. I want you to see when perfect, she said. When done properly, you be so proud. Not now when just construction mess, very embarrassing. Made sense. I'd worked construction me whole life. Building sites were chaos until the final week when everything came together. But then the extra cost started. March brought the first request. Licensing fees were higher than expected. The district office required additional permits, more paperwork, more money. 90,000 baht, about $3,000. I transferred it. Bureaucracy in Thailand was complicated, everyone knew that. Of course there were unexpected fees. April brought equipment issues. The massage tables they'd ordered were poor quality, wouldn't last. Better to spend more now on proper equipment than replace it in a year. 120,000 baht, about $4,000. I was frustrated, but I understood. I'd seen it 1,000 times in Dublin. Construction always ran over budget. Materials cost more than quoted. Problems emerged once work started. You either cut corners or you spent the extra money to do it right. May brought structural issues. The renovation uncovered problems with the building's plumbing and electrical. Had to be fixed before they could finish, otherwise they'd fail inspection. Another 90,000 baht, about $3,000. By June, I'd invested 1,050,000 baht total, $35,000. Me savings sat at $75,000. Still enough, I told myself. And the shop was almost finished. Just another month and it'd be generating income. Ploy reduced her hours at the Pattaya massage shop, said she needed to focus on managing the Udon Thani location, coordinating with contractors, handling suppliers. Made sense. You can't run a business part-time while working another job. She was constantly on her phone now, taking calls in Thai, stepping out to the balcony, sometimes into the bathroom for privacy. When I asked what the calls were about, she'd say contractors, suppliers, licensing office, always something with the business. The shop supposedly opened in July. Small ceremony, photos. Ploy sent me the front entrance, modest but professional looking. Sign in Thai and English, Ploy Wellness Massage. But the customers didn't come, not enough anyway. August brought disappointing revenue numbers, maybe 30,000 baht a month. Nowhere near enough to cover rent, utilities, staff wages. Ploy was devastated, said the location wasn't as good as they'd thought. Not enough foot traffic, needed better marketing, social media presence, maybe relocate to the main tourist area. And here's where me pride became me downfall. A smart man would have cut his losses. $35,000 gone, close the shop, move on. But I wasn't a smart man. I was a builder. And builders don't quit when things get difficult. We'll fix it, I said. Every business struggles at first. We just need to invest in proper marketing, maybe find a better location. Ploy looked at me with such gratitude, such relief. You not angry? I'm not a quitter, I said. We'll push through, make it work. The warning signs were everywhere now, but I rationalized every single one. Pete, an English expat I knew from the gym, pulled me aside at a bar one night. Mate, I saw your missus in Big C last week. She was with some Thai bloke. Looked pretty cozy. Probably a contractor, I said. Or family. She's got family in Pattaya sometimes. Pete looked skeptical. Just saying, mate. Looked like more than business. Mind your own fucking business, Pete, I said, sharper than I meant to. You don't know what you're talking about. Pete held up his hands, backed off. But I saw the pity in his eyes. He thought I was being played. He thought I was just another stupid farang. I told myself he was jealous. Lonely bloke with no one, projecting his cynicism onto me relationship. Another warning sign. I still hadn't visited Udon Thani. Still hadn't seen the massage shop in person. Still hadn't met Ploy's mother or known Phi. Almost a year of investing in a business I'd never actually seen with me own eyes. Every time I suggested going, Ploy had reasons. The shop wasn't ready yet. Her mother was still sick. Better to wait until business improved. Otherwise, I'd be disappointed. After Songkran, after the renovations finished. Always after something. And Ploy had changed. She was cold now, distant. We barely had sex anymore. She stayed up late on her phone, slept in, was always stressed, always exhausted. When I suggested doing something together weekend away, nice dinner, she'd say she was too worried about the business, too stressed about money. The irony killed me. I was spending thousands of dollars monthly and she was treating me like a burden. But I couldn't stop. I was all in now. Financially, emotionally, my pride completely invested in making this work. Pulling out meant admitting I'd made a terrible decision. Admitting I'd been scammed. Admitting I was just another stupid farang who thought he was special. Me entire identity had been about finishing what I started. 30 years on scaffolding, I'd never walked away from a job, never quit when things got difficult. The foreman who always delivered, who always pushed through, that stubbornness, that builder's pride, that refusal to admit defeat, it was destroying me. But I couldn't see it. All I could see was a failing business that needed one more push, one more investment, one more month to turn around. By August 2021, I'd spent $65,000 in 18 months. Me savings were down to $70,000. Me monthly budget was tight. I was checking me bank balance obsessively, lying awake at night doing calculations, feeling the pressure mounting. And the worst part, 21 knew. Somewhere deep down, I knew something was wrong. Knew the structure was unsound. I'd been on scaffolding long enough to recognize when something wasn't right, but admitting it meant admitting everything, that I'd been played, that Ploy wasn't who I thought she was, that the massage shop might not even exist, that I'd thrown away me retirement savings on a fantasy. I couldn't face that, so I kept going, kept telling myself it would turn around, kept believing because the alternative was unbearable. September was coming, and with it, the beginning of the end. September 2021 through December became a blur. The requests came faster, the amounts got bigger, the crises more urgent. Each one made sense in isolation. Each one had that veneer of legitimacy that kept me from seeing the pattern. The massage shop needed digital marketing. Ploy showed me quotes from marketing agencies, Facebook ad campaigns, SEO optimization, 30,000 baht, about $1,000. I transferred it. Modern businesses need online presence, I told myself. 2 weeks later, she needed money for new signage. The old sign wasn't visible enough from the main road. 45,000 baht, about $1,500. Made sense. You can't get customers if they can't see you're there. October brought the bombshell. Ploy's brother got arrested in Udon Thani. Some dispute about land. Details were vague, always vague. He needed bail money. 120,000 baht, $4,000. Ploy was in tears, devastated, said her brother was a good man, wrong place, wrong time, family needed him out. I transferred the money. What else could I do? Let him rot in Thai prison. November brought Non-Phi's dental emergency. Complicated procedure, the school insurance wouldn't cover it, needed immediate treatment. 75,000 baht, $2,500. I didn't even question it. A child's health comes first. I was spending sometimes $5,000 a month now, beyond me normal living expenses. Me savings dropped below 100,000, then below 90,000. I started checking me bank balance multiple times a day, doing calculations in me head constantly, feeling the walls closing in. Ploy noticed me stress. Maybe we should take break from shop, she'd say. Let it stabilize. You seem very worried about money, but I couldn't stop. I'd invested too much to quit now. Sunk cost fallacy, they call it. The more you've lost, the harder it is to walk away. I was in for $65,000. Couldn't let that be for nothing. The relationship had completely deteriorated. We barely spoke anymore beyond logistics. She'd stay up late on her phone, always texting in Thai, always stepping out when calls came in. We hadn't had sex in 2 months. When I tried to initiate, she'd say she was tired, stressed, not in the mood. I'd suggest doing something together weekend away, nice dinner at a proper restaurant, anything to reconnect, and she'd say she was too worried about the business, too stressed about her mother, too exhausted. The irony wasn't lost on me. I was bleeding money, and she was treating me like I was the problem. The breakthrough came from the most unlikely source. Mid-November, I got a Facebook message from Sarah, me daughter back in Dublin. We'd been estranged since the divorce years ago, barely spoke, occasional awkward birthday messages, and that was it. But this message was different. Friendly, casual. Said she'd been thinking about me, wanted to reconnect, hoped I was doing well in Thailand. We started messaging back and forth. Awkward at first, both of us dancing around years of silence, but genuine. She was trying, and I was grateful for it. She asked about me life in Thailand. I told her about Pattaya, about the weather, about feeling healthier than I had in years. She asked if I'd met anyone. I told her about Ploy. Sent photos. Talked her up the massage therapist from Isan, working hard to support her daughter. Such a good woman, I was lucky to have found her. Sarah seemed happy for me, said it was nice I'd found companionship, asked to see more photos. A week later, late November, Sarah sent me a message with screenshots attached, no preamble, just, Dad, I need you to look at these. Facebook photos. Ploy's profile semi-private, but visible enough if you knew where to look. Photos from 6 months earlier, maybe more. Ploy with a Thai man, clearly intimate. Arms around each other, his hand on her waist, her leaning into him. Comments in Thai underneath. Sarah had run them through Google Translate. Missing you, my darling. Can't wait to see you next week. Our future together. Love you so much, baby. The photos were time-stamped. I checked the dates against me memory. Times when Ploy said she was in Udon Thani managing the shop. Times when she'd been gone for 3-4 days at a stretch. I sat there staring at me phone screen in the dim light of the condo, the aircon humming, motorbikes buzzing on the street below. Everything normal, everything the same, but everything different. Ploy was at the massage shop. Wouldn't be home for another hour. I could have ignored it. Could have told myself Sarah was wrong, the translation was wrong. It was an old boyfriend from before we met. It was a cousin. It was nothing. But I didn't, because I'd been on scaffolding long enough to know when a structure is unsound. When you've got that feeling in your gut that something's about to collapse. I'd ignored that feeling for months. Couldn't ignore it anymore. When Ploy came home, I was sitting on the couch waiting. She knew immediately something was wrong. What happened? She asked. I showed her the screenshots. She cried immediately, proper sobbing, the kind that used to break me heart. Said it was her cousin, then her brother, then old photos from before she met me. Said Sarah misunderstood. Google Translate was wrong. Thai language is complicated. It doesn't mean what it looks like. I wanted desperately to believe her. Part of me was screaming to believe her, to accept the explanation, to go back to how things were. But I couldn't. The structure was collapsing and I knew it. I'm going to Udon Thani, I said. Tomorrow, I'm going to see the shop, meet your mother, meet Nonfai, see everything with me own eyes. Ploy's face changed, fear, then calculation, then back to tears. No, not good time, mother's still sick, shop not ready for you to see, please wait little longer. I've waited long enough, I said. I booked a flight that night, Air Asia, early morning. Didn't tell Ploy the time, didn't tell her the details, just said I was going. I barely slept. Ploy stayed up on her phone, texting furiously in Thai. At one point I heard her talking quietly in the bathroom, arguing with someone. I took a taxi to the airport at 5 in the morning. Ploy was asleep, or pretending to be. I didn't wake her. The flight to Udon Thani took about an hour. I sat by the window watching rice fields and villages pass below, feeling sick to me stomach, hoping I was wrong, knowing I wasn't. I took a taxi from the airport to the address Ploy had given me for the massage shop. The driver knew the area, found the street easily enough. It was a 7-Eleven. I stood there on the pavement in the morning heat, sweat already soaking through me shirt, staring at the green and orange sign. Cars and motorbikes streaming past, the smell of exhaust and street food. A 7-Eleven. I went inside, asked the staff if there'd ever been a massage shop at this address. They looked confused, said no, just 7-Eleven. Been here for years. I tried the neighboring shops. A noodle place, a pharmacy, a mobile phone shop. The older woman who ran the pharmacy remembered a girl asking about commercial leases 6 months back, maybe more. Nothing came of it, no shop ever opened. I had the name of Ploy's mother's village. She'd shown me photos enough times, mentioned the district. I took a taxi out there, about 20 minutes from central Udon Thani, rural, proper countryside, rice fields, wooden houses, chickens running around. I asked around, showed photos of Ploy on me phone. An older man pointed me toward a house at the end of a dirt road. Nonfai was there, playing with other kids in front of the house. Beautiful little girl, exactly like her photos. She looked at me curiously, this sweating Farang stranger, but went back to playing. An older woman came out. Ploy's mother had to be. She looked at me, confused, said something in Thai. A neighbor came over, younger woman, spoke basic English. Can I help you? I'm looking for Ploy, I said. I'm her boyfriend, from Pattaya. The neighbor translated. Ploy's mother laughed, not unkindly but in recognition, like, ah yes, another one. The neighbor translated back. Ploy has Farang boyfriends in Pattaya. She comes home once a month with money. She says she works with foreigners. Are you the Irishman? Me stomach dropped. There are others? The neighbor nodded. She says American man, English man, maybe more. She works in Pattaya. What about the massage shop, I asked, the business we invested in? The neighbor looked confused, translated to the mother. The mother shook her head, said something in Thai. No shop, the neighbor translated. No business. Ploy works in Pattaya, sends money home. Very good daughter. What about him? I pulled up the Facebook photos on my phone, showed her the Thai man. The neighbor smiled. That's Samchai, Ploy's boyfriend. They together maybe 5-6 years. He works in Rayon, factory work, comes to visit sometimes. I looked at Nonfei playing in the dirt. Does she know who I am? The neighbor asked the mother. The mother shook her head. She knows mother has Farang friends who send money, the neighbor translated. But she never meets them. The neighbor, sensing me devastation, tried to be kind. Many girls do this. Farang send money, Thai boyfriend gets money. Very normal. You shouldn't feel bad. This is just how some people make living. I flew back to Pattaya that afternoon, sat by the window in a daze, the whole world looking different now. Everything I'd thought was real, gone. Every story I'd believed, a lie. When I got back to the condo, Ploy was gone, completely. All her clothes, her things, everything. The place was empty except for me stuff. She blocked me online, on Facebook, on everything. I went to the massage shop where we'd met. The manager said Ploy quit months ago, wouldn't say why. The other girls looked uncomfortable when I asked, said they didn't know where she was. I tried the tourist police. They were polite but dismissive. It's a civil matter, sir. You gave money to your girlfriend voluntarily, no crime was committed. This is very common. One officer, older, more honest than the others, pulled me aside. You give money to girlfriend, she spends money. This is not fraud. This is relationship. Many Farang learn this lesson. I'm sorry. I sat in me condo that night doing the calculations. $83,000. 18 months. Me savings from 165,000 to 82,000, half me retirement gone, and the massage shop that never existed, the mother I'd sent money to for diabetes treatment, the school fees for Nong Thai, the motorbike, the brother's bail, all of it, every single baht, gone to support Ploy's real life. Her Thai boyfriend Sumchai, her actual family, her actual future that had nothing to do with me. I'd been so convinced I was different, so convinced Ploy was different, so convinced that a masseuse isn't a bar girl meant something, but I was just another stupid farang, another ATM with a heartbeat, another lonely man who thought he was special enough to outsmart a game that was rigged from the start. The structure had collapsed, and I was buried in the rubble. I spent the first 2 weeks after Udon Thani barely leaving the condo, just sat there doing the calculations over and over, like if I did the math enough times the numbers would change. $83,000, 18 months, 165,000 down to 82,000, half me retirement savings gone. I wasn't destitute. Still had me pension, about $1,500 a month. Still had 82,000 in the bank. But everything was different now. The comfortable retirement I'd planned, destroyed. Me monthly budget, once loose enough to help someone I cared about, now tight enough that every baht mattered. I moved to a cheaper condo in January, further from the beach, smaller, 8,000 baht instead of 12. The new place was fine, functional, but it felt like failure. Like admitting defeat. I stopped eating Western food at the expat restaurants, started eating Thai street food instead. Pad krapao from the cart on the corner, 40 baht. Some tam from the market, 30 baht. The food was grand, actually better than most restaurant stuff, but every meal reminded me I was counting now. Counting in ways I hadn't needed to before. The shame was worse than the money. That's what people don't understand when they hear these stories. Yeah, losing $83,000 hurt. Yeah, me retirement plans were fucked. But the shame, Jaces, the shame was crushing. I'd been so convinced I was different. So convinced I was smarter than the stereotypical old farang getting cleaned out by Thai girls. I'd seen those men everywhere in Pattaya fat, drunk, deluded, handing money to girls young enough to be their granddaughters, buying lady drinks at Walking Street, convinced the 20-year-old really loved them. I felt superior to them, because Ploy had a real job, because she'd insisted on paying half at dinner that first night, because she'd made me wait 6 weeks before sleeping with me, because she seemed educated, proper, modest. I'd walked into the exact same trap while congratulating myself for avoiding it. The trap just wore different clothes. The only good thing to come out of the whole disaster was Sarah. We kept messaging, video calls every week now. She never said I told you so, never judged, never made me feel worse than I already felt. It's not your fault, Dad, she'd say. She was a professional. Anyone could have been fooled. But I knew better. I'd ignored every warning sign because I wanted to believe. Pete telling me he'd seen her with a Thai bloke. Ploy always having excuses for why I couldn't visit Udon Thani. The massage shop I'd invested $35,000 in that I'd never actually seen. The family I'd supported for over a year that I'd never met. The signs were everywhere. I just didn't want to see them. Sarah's planning to visit Thailand next year. Wants to see what me life is really like, not the sanitized version I'd been selling her. Part of me dreads it. Part of me needs it. Needs someone from home to see I'm okay, that I survived this. I still live in Pattaya. Sometimes I walk past the massage shop where I met Ploy. There's a new girl working there now, young, pretty, modest uniform, professional demeanor, probably running the same play on some other lonely expat. The whole operation just keeps going. I avoid soy buakal mostly. Too many memories, too many reminders. Though part of me wants to run into Ploy, just to hear what she'd say. Would she apologize? Laugh? Pretend she didn't know me? I'll never know. She vanished completely. I've made a few genuine friends now. Other expats who've been here long enough to know the score. Some Thai people too, proper friendships built on actually knowing each other, not on money. It's a more careful, more skeptical version of connection, but it's real. I go to the gym, take me heart medication religiously. Quit smoking finally. That's one promise to myself I actually kept. The health scare that brought me to Thailand probably saved me life in the end, even if the aftermath cost me nearly everything else. I'm healthier now at 57 than I was at 54. Walking every day. Eating better. No cigarettes. The irony isn't lost on me. Came to Thailand to save me life, nearly destroyed it financially, but actually ended up healthier. Here's what I learned. The lesson I wish I'd understood 18 months earlier. A masseuse isn't a bar girl. Was the most dangerous thought I ever had in Thailand. The trap isn't the profession, it's believing that legitimate employment equals legitimate intentions. That someone with a real job, real responsibilities, a real life, somehow can't be running a scam. But poverty and scams look identical because they come from the same place. Genuine need and calculated manipulation use the same language, the same tears, the same stories. And the girl who doesn't ask is often the most effective at getting you to give, because she makes you feel like it's your choice, your generosity, your idea. You're not being scammed, you're being a good man helping someone who needs it. What matters isn't the story someone tells you. What matters isn't whether they work at a massage shop or a bar or a 7-Eleven or a bloody bank. What matters is protecting yourself until you actually know someone. And in Thailand, that takes years, not months. You don't really know someone until you've met their family unannounced, until you've verified every story, until you've seen their life with your own eyes rather than through their carefully curated presentation, until you've been to the business you're investing in, until you've confirmed that the sick mother actually exists, that the daughter actually goes to that school, that the brother actually got arrested. I verified none of it. Just believed because I wanted to believe. I'm still in Thailand, not broken, not destroyed, but different, more careful, more cynical. I came here to escape the man who had the heart attack, to build a new life in warm weather with low stress. I succeeded in some ways. I'm healthier. I've reconnected with me, daughter. I've learned hard lessons about me-self in the world. But the cost was $83,000 and the death of the fantasy that I could outsmart a game rigged against me from the start. The foreman who never quit, who always finished the job, who pushed through every obstacle that stubbornness nearly destroyed me. Sometimes walking away is the smartest thing you can do. Sometimes admitting you've made a terrible decision is the only way to stop the bleeding. I learned that too late, but I learned it. So if you're watching this, if you're in Thailand or planning to come, if you're thinking about that nice girl who works at the massage shop or the restaurant or the hotel, who seems different from all the others, listen to me. She's not different. You're not different. The story's the same. It just wears different faces. Protect yourself. Verify everything. Meet the family before you send money. Visit the business before you invest. And understand that if someone's life is a catalog of emergencies requiring your money, you're not in a relationship. You're an ATM. That's my story. That's my $83,000 lesson. Hope it saves someone else the tuition. That's Niall's story, and it's one that plays out more often than you might think across Thailand. The massage shop girl scam is one of the most effective variations because it targets exactly the kind of man who thinks he's too smart for the obvious traps. These women are professionals. They're often working multiple foreigners simultaneously, coordinating stories, maintaining separate social media profiles, rotating between cities. The business investment angle is particularly devastating because it gives men something to cling to beyond just the relationship. It becomes about pride, about being a builder, about not being a quitter. If you're in Thailand or planning to come, understand this. Employment status means nothing. Bar girl, masseuse, teacher, office worker, student, the job doesn't determine honesty. Time and verification do. Meet the family unannounced. Visit the business you're investing in. Verify every story. And understand that if someone's life is a catalog of emergencies requiring your money, you're not in a relationship. You're an ATM. These stories exist to help others avoid the same mistakes. Niall shared his story so that someone else might recognize the warning signs he ignored. That's the only redemption available, turning expensive lessons into protective wisdom for whoever's listening. This is Thailand. Stay safe out there.